Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is part 3 of Ode of Intimations of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood by William Wordsworth. If you have not yet watched the previous two parts, you can check them on my YouTube channel. Now let's start with the explanation. These are some of the difficult words from stanza number 8. Please note them. Now first I'll read the whole lines, then I'll explain it. Thou whose exterior semblance doth belie thy soul's immensity, thou best philosopher, who yet dost keep thy heritage, thou eye among the blind, that deaf and silent reads the eternal deep, haunted forever by the eternal mind, mighty prophet, seer blessed, on whom those truth do rest. Though whose exterior semblance doth belie thy soul's immensity. Here Wordsworth is using a literary device, apostrophe. So apostrophe refers to a rhetorical technique in which a speaker or writer addresses an absent person or absent concept, an intimate object or a deity as if it were present or capable of responding. So here, Wordsworth is directly addressing to the child. In thou exterior semblance, he's saying that your size give us wrong impression, because he says that although your body size is small and ordinary, yet your soul is so mature and so divine and have a spiritual connection that even adults don't have that. So that's the belie, that's the wrong impression that you give us. So he says that the semblance doth belie, which means that from the semblance, no one can even guess the immensity of your soul. Thou best philosopher who yet dost keep thy heritage, thou eye among the blind. He's calling the child the best philosopher because Wordsworth says that just like every other philosopher, the children have the heritage of knowledge. They have spiritual knowledge that adults don't have. That is why they are bigger philosopher than adults. Also they can see that those truths of existence and life and universe that adults cannot see. So if any one of you have read another Wordsworth poem, We Are Seven, so there also he gave some idea of a 8-year-old girl uh, who says that her dead siblings are still part of her family, and poet as an adult asked to exclude them from the counting of their family. So by the way, if you're a student, you can if you have not read that poem, you can use that poem as a reference. The poem name was V.S. 7 by William Wordsworth. So you can use it as an in your explanation as a reference. So the idea here is that they are the best philosophers and they have those eyes to see the truth, and they have the bigger knowledge that even adults don't have. The deaf and silent read the eternal deep, haunted forever by the eternal mind. So he's continuing the idea, saying that child could understand eternal truths. However, Wordsworth called him deaf and silent because he says that child is unable to fully express the spiritual wisdom he have, because he is so young. He could not express that eternal deep truths he have, but he have that truths inside him. Moving forward, mighty prophets are blessed on whom those truths do rest. He calls them seer, blessed, a person who could see the future, because of his unique ability to understand the deep truths of life. So he called the child a prophet, a seer, which are quite big words to use for a child, but Wordsworth used them for a child. Which we are toiling our all our lives to find in darkness, lost the darkness of the grave. So he is talking about the truths that the truth which an adult tries to find his whole life, but still all in vain, and the At last, the adult ends up in the grave, but he could not find those truths of existence, of life, of universe that a child know from the very beginning of his existence. Thou over whom thy immortality broods like the day, a master over the slave. Here, immortality, Wordsworth referred to divine, some essence, or we can say truths about life and death, hover above the child. That's why he is not worried about the death. So we say a child don't understand the deep meaning of death. That is why he is not worried about death. But Wordsworth says that a child is not worried about death because they fully understand the meaning of death. This knowledge dominates the child from the rest of the world, as the day dominates the world, or governs the day world as daylight. A presence which is not to be put by, thou little child, yet glorious in the might of heaven born freedom on thy being's height. Now, he says that the divine presence in the child cannot be denied. We cannot deny that a child have some spiritual connection with the God. Though he's small, but they are glorious because they possess the divine freedom and some spiritual elevation within them. He says that the child innocence and untainted perception in them is sublime. Why, with such earnest pains, dost thou provoke the ears to bring the inevitable yoke? Here, he questioned the eagerness of the child to grow up. We always could witness around us that every child pretends as an adult because he wants to grow up as soon as possible. So he questioned that eagerness of the child, and he says that the adulthood will impose the burdens and some worldly concerns upon you. The inevitable yoke. The yoke is the burdens of the adulthood. So he's asking that why do you want those burdens upon you? This blindly with thy blessedness at strife. So he's saying that by longing and by wishing for growing up, uh, the child ignores the blessing or the spiritual connection in with God he now have. He's ignoring that. He's not aware of the blessing he now have. Full soon thy soul shall have her earthly fright, and custom lie upon thee with a weight heavy as frost and deep almost as life. He says that soon the earth will burden you with her tradition or some social conventions or some expectations of people or of society, and these expectations were so heavy and suffocating, and they will dim the sublime awareness you have now. So why you are wishing for that? So he's comparing this situation as heavy as frost. Now, this is another literary device simile because he's using the word as. So he's saying that he's comparing this with a flower which is deep inside some frost and could, which is unable to enjoy the weather. So and eventually it will die in that situation. And same in the situation of adulthood, that you will deep under the expectations and under the concerns of the world, and you will eventually die in that situation. These are some difficult words from next stanza. Please note them. O joy that in our embers is something that doth live, that nature yet remember what was so fugitive. The thought of our past years in me doth breed perpetual benediction, not indeed for that which is most worthy to be blessed, delight and liberty, the simple greed of childhood, whether busy or at rest, with new fledged hope still flittering in his breast. O joy that in our embers is something that doth live. So he's again using apostrophe as he's directly addressing to the joy. So Embers are burning coal covered with ashes. Uh, so fire inside could rekindle, and we could. We are not. He's saying that we are not completely dead souls. We have embers within us, and we have still spark within us that nature yet remembers what was so fugitive. He's giving himself, and also we can say he's giving us some consolation and some reminder that although the happy past was fugitive and it was so fleeting and of so short time, and it passed away, but we still remember that, and it's a good sign. The thought of our past year in me doth breed perpetual benediction. Now he's saying that just recalling these childhood memories bring forth a perpetual benediction, a constant sense of gratitude in me. That I also want experience this level of spirituality in my childhood. I also had this connection of with God once in my life. So he's consoling himself with this idea. Not, not indeed for that which is most worthy to be blessed, delight, and liberty. Now he's clarifying why why he's feeling so much gratitude. He's clearing that he's not because of unending delight and freedom of childhood. He's listing some ideas that not because of delight and liberty, the simple creed of childhood, whether busy or at rest, with new fledged hope still fluttering in his breast. Also, not because of bundles of optimism or hope or potential in my heart, like present at any time, at all the times, effortlessly. The childs have no grudges in them, and effortlessly there are no any worries in the childhood. Not that I raise the song of thanks and praise, but for those obstinate questionings of sense and outward things, falling from us, vanishing, blank misgivings of a creature, moving about in worlds not realized, high instincts before which our mortal nature did tremble like a guilty thing surprised. Not for these I raise the song of thanks and praise. Again, he's saying that not for the simple joys of love of childhood I'm not grateful to. Okay, so not grateful for the freedom and delight, not grateful for the hope and optimism. He's listing those things, that happy pleasures of the childhood, but he's saying that I'm not grateful for these things, delight and freedom, optimism, hope, and also the joys and loves of the childhood, but for those obstinate questionings of sense and outward things. But now he's saying what he's thankful of. He's saying he's thankful of those difficult, those complicated, those unending questions that a child asks. Wordsworth says that those questions are like a blessing, uh, of sense and outward things falling from us, vanishing. The questions about challengings of works, about life, about doubts, about many things that even adults cannot explain sometimes. Moving about inward, not realized. Now, child is moving to the adulthood, to the world of materialism, uh, without even understanding the mysteries of the of this world, because the adults could not understand those mysteries, so they could not able to explain those mysteries to the child when he asked those questions. High instincts are before which our mortal nature did tremble like a guilty thing surprised. Now, Wordsworth is saying, although the child don't have the answers that or don't know the mysteries of this world, but he have the high knowledge, high instincts of the world of soul, the world like knowledge about our mortal being, like knowledge about the mortal beings feel tremble to know, tremble to answer, tremble to acknowledge knowledge such as about life, death, prenatal life, afterlife, etc. But for those first affections, those shady recollections, now he's saying that he's again showing gratitude towards those emotional experiences of childhood or maybe the before childhood experiences, which he says that he couldn't fully understand or he couldn't fully recall. Those are some hazy, some shadowy recollections, but he's still but they have some lasting impact on him, and he's still grateful for him. So he's grateful for the obstinate questionings, and he's grateful for those shadowy recollections of childhood or maybe of before childhood memories, which may be what they may are yet the fountain light of all our day. Now he's talking about those shadowy recollections. He's saying that these recollections are fountain lights that they guide us, they inspire us, and they give meaning to our lives. Are yet a master light of all our seeing. He says that these recollections guide us through darkness of our earthly life. So these recollections are fountain light and also the master light. So they guide us, so they inspire us, they give us meaning in lives. They guide us in our earthly life also, uphold us, cherish, and have power to make our noisy ears seem moments in the being of eternal silence. He says that when terrible, worried, upset as when of these materialistic world, these experiences or these recollections support us and give us strength. And then the troubles of the experiences melts away and we are relieved once again. Now, the poet says eternal silence. Now, here he's talking about some eternal truths that a child know. So, he's saying that eternal silence, truth that wake to perish never. So, he's talking about the truths that are awakened in childhood and then they never perished, which neither listlessness nor mad endeavor, nor man nor boy, nor all that is at enmity with joy can utterly abolish or destroy. Now, li- uh, listlessness is having no interest in life. Mad endeavor is being mad or in rush or totally engaged in work. So he's saying also man or boy, or then at no total enmity with joy, which means that the when uh, materialist this materialist world totally take away all the pleasures of the man. So all these things, all these situations cannot destroy the pleasure, cannot destroy the truth. Which truth? The eternal truth, which he talked in previous lines, cannot utterly abolish or destroy those truth. The truth remains intact. Which truth or which happiness? The happiness which he get by recollections of the childhood memories. Hence, in a season of calm weather, though inland far we be, our souls have sight of that immortal sea which brought us hither. So he says that when we are far from nature and spiritual experience during the moment of some peace, or whenever we are some far away, so by recalling these memories, as we all know that Wordsworth have this idea that we all lived at some other side of the sea before existing in this world. So he's referring to that sea here in this line of souls have the sight of that immortal sea. He's referring to that sea which brought us hither, which brought us here in this world, and which brought us into existence. So by recalling memories of that sea, can in a moment travel thither. So in a moment we can travel, in just a flick we can travel back to that memories, that childhood memories or pre-childhood memories, and see the children sport upon the shore, and hear the mighty waters rolling evermore. Now he's giving us the imagery of that immortal sea and telling us about the children who are still playing there. Uh, mm, the children could be the children who are not born yet, or they could be the childs who still have that uh, celestial light in them. So he's giving us the idea that you can return to the state of spiritual purity and eternal joy anytime by recalling these memories. He's saying that ever in your life, whenever you are sitting at any place, you close your eyes and feel the peace inside yourself, and you can feel that moment again, that pleasure again in your mind, in your heart, and he's giving consolation to himself that all is not lost, and now he's back happy as he was at the start of the poem. These are some of the difficult words from stanza number 10. Please note them. Stanza number 10. Then sing, ye birds, sing a joyous song, and let the young lambs bound as to the tabor's sound. So, as now the poet is again happy, and so he's calling the natural elements to celebrate the joy with him. He's encouraging the birds, the lamb, to play and to sing with him. So he's saying that now I'll join you. He's asking the birds, the young lamb, to sing, to play, and now he's saying that now I'll join you, because now he find those answers about the mysteries in his mind. We in thought will join your throng, yea, that pipe and yea, that play. Now, although human cannot physically participate in the revelry of nature, in the that situation, in the pleasure of nature, but he's saying that we'll join you in spirit, we'll join you in thoughts. So he's saying now I'll join you in this. Yea, that through your hearts today feel the gladness of May. Now he's again using apostrophe. He's saying that he's dressing to the creators of nature. He's saying that I'll join you in this joy, and he's suggesting that in this moment we'll all enjoy this traditional happiness of May. As I have earlier discussed in previous video, that May is the month of joy in European countries. So he's because it's spring in May in Europe. So he's saying that we all enjoy this traditional happiness of May together. What though the radiance was what once so bright, but now forever taken from my sight? Wordsworth acknowledged the loss of former radiance, former spirituality, clarity, the former connection. So he's acknowledged that lost him kind of mourn over the loss, but he mourned over the passing of that pure, unspoiled moments. Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, the glory of the flower, because we know in the first stanzas he said that in childhood we witness, we experience everything, every meanest flower, every meanest beauty of the nature with such curiosity and with such experience, because we are looking at it for the first time. So now, and when we grow older, when in adulthood, we it's become the part of life, it become the part of the common day, because we say that flower in our daily life, so it lost its beauty. Now he's referring to that thing. He's saying that he's acknowledging still that it is true that now it is passed away, and it cannot be bring he cannot bring back his childhood, and he cannot see the earlier glory in flower or earlier splendor of grass. But then he's saying that we will grieve not, sorry, we will grieve not, rather find strength in what's remain behind. Now that's important. We will grieve not, rather find strength in what's remain behind. He urges not to worry, instead find strength. He encourages us to accept the change, to focus on the present. Let us not worry about what is lost, but focus on what is left behind. That's such an important thing in every aspect of our life. In the primal sympathy. Now, what is left behind? Primal sympathy. What is primal sympathy? Primal sympathy is the deep connection between man and nature. Now he's saying that forget that loss. He acknowledges that we lost something, but he's saying that focus on the primal sympathy that is left behind, the connection between man and nature that is left behind, and that is enough for the rest of the life, which have been must ever be. It is eternal. This connection is eternal, and sorry, nothing can separate man and nature. In soothing thoughts that spring out of human suffering, in the faith that looks through death. Now, these are most important and deep lines. Now, try to focus on these lines with me. In the soothing thoughts that spring now, with soothing thoughts that spring out of human sufferings. Now he's calling human suffering as a spring. Why? Because he's saying now even due to sufferings, with suffering that I lost that childhood, even due to these sufferings have some positive effect on me, because I have learned to appreciate the smallest happiness. Because in childhood I could not feel the deep experience. Like I could see the glory, I could see the celestial light, but I didn't knew the importance of the celestial light at that time. But now I could feel the deep meaning of that things. Now, because now I'm more mature. Here we can write the reference of another Wordsworthian poem, Tintern Abbey. If any of you have read that, Tintern Abbey, where Tintan Abbey is a place where Wordsworth traveled with a gap of 5 years. He traveled 5 years before, and when he wrote that poem, Tintan Abbey, he traveled five again after 5 years to that place, and he noticed the much the difference of the perception of the same point of the same place, but the perception was way more mature and sober. Why? Because that was the spring of human suffering. I hope you are getting my point. So he said, in the faith that looks through death. Now these experiences makes you to look through death. These experiences makes you philosophic that death is not the end. As he says that this as I have earlier discussed the poem We Are Seven, at that poem he also gave this message that death is not the end. In this poem he's also saying that this philosophic mind, this experience makes you to look through death, that death is not the end. Okay, in the years that brings the philosophic mind. Now he's talking about the adulthood, that adulthood brings the philosophic mind, and the soul just passes to the vastness of the world of eternity. Okay, in the adulthood, oh yeah, and oh yeah, fountains, meadows, hills, and groves foreboard not any severing of our loves. Now he's talking to nature. He's saying that predict forward, which means predict, that he's directly speaking to nature. He's saying that predict not any more separation or loss of love between him and the word of nature anymore. Uh, He's saying now my adulthood, now this philosophic mind didn't cut me from the nature of pleasure. I still enjoy them. It deepens them. I hope that you got point of all these lines. In these lines, he just said that forget whatever you have lost. Okay, accept whatever you have lost and feel whatever you left behind. And whatever you left behind is the philosophic mind. Is the philosophic mind that is not the end. And the human sufferings are a spring uh, you that there's not any separation between you and nature, and that's a blessing. Yet in my heart of hearts I feel your might. Now poet feel power of presence of nature, deepens self, we can say. Heart of hearts, it's so deepen in himself, the power of nature. I I only have relinquished one delight, to live beneath your more habitual sway. Now he's saying that I've lost some aspects of previous joy, but this loss did not diminish his love for nature. He says that now I now live under your influence even more habitual way, even more regular way. Now, even we focus on the Wordsworth life. We say whenever he goes somewhere, he even that he's walking through a street, he looks at the daffodil, he enjoys that sight. He's walking through some fields, he looks at a girl cutting and singing, and he enjoys in solitary reaper. He looks at a girl in a highland girl, is one of his poem Highland Girl. He looks at the valley Tintern Abbey. He enjoys that. So there are lots of examples in his life that he enjoys nature everywhere, everywhere in his whole life, so in more habitual way. He suggests that when someone grow older, he lives more regularly under the influence of the nature. I love the brooks which down their channel fret. Now he's talking about an aspect of nature brooks. He's saying that I like those brooks with more now as compared to the childhood. Even even more than when I tripped lightly as they the innocent brightness of a newborn day is lovely yet. So he's saying that I enjoy looking at the brooks and all that things, we can say, nature even more when I used to just jump over it and run and play and card. Now my appreciation increased, now my connection deepens with the nature. And another, he gives the example of a newborn day, that it's still lovely for me. The clouds that gather round the setting sun do take a sober coloring from an eye. Now he's just listing the things that are still beautiful for him. First, he talked about the brook, then the newborn day. Now he's talking about the clouds that are still beautiful, the setting sun. Sober. Now he used the word sober coloring. Now the colors are not sober of the setting sun. The colors are same as they were when he was child. He is sober now, so he could witness those colors as sober. That had kept watch over men's mortality. Now he's talking about the sun, that the nature was, we can say sun, or we can say nature, that the nature was always there. The nature witnessed people from generation to generation, and this just the perception of just the perception of people changes about the sun or the nature changes with time, as we can say that it became sober with time for Wordsworth also. Another race had been, and other poems have won. Now he acknowledged again. He acknowledged the passage of time. He acknowledged that he lost few things, but he gained other. He lost the clarity and colors of childhood, but he gained the experience and lessons of adulthood. Thanks to the human heart by which we live, thanks to its tenderness, its joys and fears, to me the meanest flower that blows can give thoughts do often lie too deep for tears. So he's saying that it is because we have human heart that we feel tenderness, we feel emotions in us. So it is because of the heart that which make human life so rich and meaningful, so full of colors, so full of emotions. So the adults lose some of its joys, earliest joys, but they feel the emotions, different emotions that a child couldn't be able to feel. So he's being he was grateful for some of the blessing which he had in the childhood. Now he's grateful about the blessing that he have in adulthood, and he's uh, grateful for the profound meaning that he could find in the meanest flower, and his deep experiences that make him a philosopher. So this poem ends at a very optimistic note, that Wordsworth, again a happy man in his life, who and then again value his life. or we can say value his adult life once again. If you have any questions regarding the poem, you can ask in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the channel, and also press the bell icon, and give your worthy suggestions in the comments below about the next video, and what how could I improve my explanation skills.